Hey friend, are you asking yourself, is this what I really want to be doing with my life? I don't think so. I think there's something else that I'm meant to be doing. Welcome to the Painting Your Path podcast, where we have real conversations about what it takes to step out, be bold, and do you. I'm your host, Clarissa Castillo-Ramsey. Let's dive in.
Hey, welcome back to the Painting Your Path podcast. I'm your host, Clarissa Castillo-Ramsey. And if you're tuning in to this real time, I've been in Texas for the last several weeks. And I notice I always get into deep reflection when I'm out here. I think distance sometimes gives you clarity. And I've been sitting with something lately, especially as I talk to more women, talk to my mom, and honestly reflecting on my own life. There's this quiet disconnect that happens over time. When you look up one day and think, when did I stop knowing what I want? Whose life am I leading anyway? And I don't think this happens randomly. And I'm speaking to the women in particular, women of a certain age. A lot of us were taught directly or indirectly, be a lady, be polite. Don't rock the boat. Don't be too much. Don't take up too much space. So we learn how to read the room, how to adjust. We learn how to be who we need to be accepted. And I personally think somewhere along the way, we lose connection with ourselves. And I'll give you a simple example. One that, if you've been here for a while, you've heard it before. I wasn't encouraged to be an artist, especially as a profession. There was no one in my day-to-day life saying, yes, why don't you go down that path? It's profitable. Or you enjoy making art. Have at it. Go for it, kid. There was no fairy art mother coming to save me. But at some point, I had to make a decision. This is what I want. This is what brings me joy. This is what I feel called to do. And it became less about whether it made sense to anyone else and more about being honest with me. And I've seen this pattern repeat in different ways. After the Eaton fire, something in me said, you need to do something. Not because I had a perfect plan, but because it felt like a responsibility. My house did not burn down, so I joined a wellness committee. My local Alta Arts Collective group shifted into community support. We started doing things like the Community Campus Project and Stronger Through Art. I also got certified in the Community Resiliency Model. And I started teaching skills to help people regulate, to cope with the aftermath of the fire, to help them be resilient again. And none of that came from a strategy. It came from tuning in to my inner self. And then there's my spasmodic dysphonia journey, which you can clearly hear. Because even there are messages about what you should do, what will fix the problem, like a Botox, and no judgment, sure, that could help. But I had to get honest about something I didn't want to fully look at. My body didn't randomly shut down. It was responding to years of operating at a high stress level. And what I wasn't hearing enough in the spasmodic dysphonia space was, how do we address what's underneath? Because for me, I don't want a Band-Aid solution. So I thought, I think this community could benefit from some resiliency work, because that feels aligned, that feels true, that feels helpful. So why am I sharing all of this? Because none of these decisions came from someone handing me permission. It came from paying attention to what kept showing up and choosing to follow it, even when it didn't make sense, even when it wasn't validated yet, even when I wasn't gonna monetize from it, even when it would have been easier to ignore. And this is where I want to gently challenge you. If there's something in you that keeps nudging you, a project, a creative idea, a different way of living, and you keep saying, I'll get to it, I'll start one day. At some point, you have to ask, what are you actually waiting for? Choosing yourself doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be a big, dramatic life change. It could look something like taking a class, starting the project, giving yourself 30 minutes, letting something be imperfect and real. And that is why I'm hosting my free class, Activate Your Creative Voice, on May 11th. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about reconnecting with what's already there and actually taking a step toward it. So if you've been feeling disconnected, in limbo, or unsure where to begin, I'd love for you to join me, and the details are in the show notes. And before we close, I'll leave you with this. What's something you've been quietly feeling called to do that you haven't given yourself permission to start? And what would it look like to choose yourself? So that's it for this week. And until next time, keep painting your path.
Thank you so much for staying till the very end. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend. If you haven't had a chance yet, please write a review and rate the show. I would love to hear your feedback. And I also have a free resource guide for anybody who is asking themselves, am I on the right path for myself now? Or is there something else that I really want to do? Maybe you're in that quandary. Maybe you're wondering what's next. So head over to the show notes and you'll see my Painting Your Path framework guide. Download it and have some fun. Just start exploring. And thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next week.